Did you know that this film used recycled animation during the production, but not for the reasons you may think? And did you know this was Phil Harris's third time voicing a Disney character? This is 100 Facts about Robin Hood. Robin Hood is the 21st Disney animated feature film. It was released on November 8th, 1973 and was received positively by film critics. The idea to adapt Robin Hood into an animated feature film dated back to Walt Disney's interest in the tale of Reynard the Fox. He developed an interest during his first full-length feature production, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The idea was shelved over and over again until writer and production designer Ken Anderson incorporated ideas into a pitch for The Legend of Robin Hood. Ken Anderson thought it would be interesting to use anthropomorphic animals rather than people. Anthropomorphic is the attribution of human traits, emotions or intentions to non-human entities, in this case animals. Ollie Johnston directed this film. Ollie was one of Disney's 9 old men, a group of core animators in the early days of Disney. After Walt's death, Ollie led the team and tried to motivate the crew as much as Walt did. He wanted to keep Disney animation alive, and if it wasn't for Ollie, Disney animation may have died with Walt Disney.
There was no replacement for Walt, and in my view, the main thing was to keep this team together and keep the same creative juices flowing that they had with Walt. And I always had little meetings so that those animators who were the key to producing any picture, so that those guys were in on the decisions. And it wasn't a fearless leader type of thing by any means, and you got an awful lot of good input.
Ollie decided to cast the henchmen in the film as rhinos, as they were menacing and quickly conveyed that they were strong and villainous.
We needed these powerful tank-like creatures that would just form a phalange and just rip through everything. And that was just a one-dimensional beast in a way. Of course, we put clothes on them, gave them spears.
Originally, Friar Tuck was to be a pig, but this was changed to be a badger to avoid insulting religious groups. The Sheriff of Nottingham was originally a goat, but was changed to a wolf, as they seemed to better represent the villains. Ollie Johnston also decided that the main villain should be a lion, and this has a double meaning. Lions represent royalty, which suited the character of Prince John. Lions also represent strong, powerful animals, and Prince John is the complete opposite of that.
Well, that's a different reason for using a lion. It was a cowardly lion, and the lion is a symbol of regal, of king, and of course he wasn't a king, and he was a scroungy lion and a sneaky lion, and it gave you a real good character. And then of course with Peter Ustinov's voice you couldn't miss.
Taxes! Taxes! Beautiful, lovely taxes!
This was the first Walt Disney animation film to not feature any humans since Bambi in 1942. Unlike Bambi, these animals act more like humans than they do animals. Veteran writer Larry Clemens came on board by writing the script. This script was then turned into the storyboards. Whilst Ken Anderson provided many sketches for the characters, it was Milt Kahl that polished and finalised them, ready for animation. Milt Kahl's design is very different to previous versions of Fox's at Disney. Milt's design is much more appealing and requires more subtle animation. This showed the improvement of Disney animators over the decades, because the acting became more realistic with emphasis on detail. Milt would often sketch out ideas before committing to any animation. He would explore all possibilities for the scene first and think about which scene had the most potential to show the personality of the characters.
Let's take the Sheriff of Nottingham in Robin Hood. He's a big, pompous oaf who is very satisfied with himself and very good, feels real good about everything, and especially about himself, so he has a real bouncy way of walking.
As the taxes too, and the taxes is due.
You see these things on people and you file them away in your mind somewhere.
Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnston were two of the finest animators at Disney Animation. The two animators were best friends in real life and would go on to write The Illusion of Life, which became the Bible for animators. Frank and Ollie would both use their children as inspiration when animating scenes.
One of the most important parts of animation is observing, seeing things around you, see what people do and learn the little traits that they have, the way they look, the timing on them. You have to observe all those things.
Yeah, my son, I kept watching him when he was a kid, sucking his thumb and holding on to his ear while he did it, and I used that on Prince John.
Mother always did like Richard best.
Which ear did he hold?
I can't remember. My son would go from ear to ear this way. Prince John's arms weren't long enough to reach around and do that.
Yeah, one of my boys
yeah.
had a way when he was sleeping and he was nervous, he'd rub his feet together this way, as if there's some tension in there. And I used that on Prince John while Robin Hood was stealing the gold.
Ollie Johnston was given scenes to animate with Prince John and Sir Hiss. He created a brilliant relationship between the characters that relied on Prince John needing constant reassurance that he is a good monarch.
Another hiss out of you, hiss, and you are walking to Nottingham.
One more hiss out of you, hiss, and you are walking to Nottingham.
John Lounsbury animated scenes with the Sheriff of Nottingham. I absolutely love John's work, especially on the scene where the sheriff is collecting money. He is interrogating Otto and collects the money from inside Otto's cast. Now, there is a misconception with the reused animation in this film. I have seen a lot of coverage about this topic on YouTube. There was a reason for the recycling of animation. Many people think it is to do with saving money. Technically, it would cost the same amount of money as it takes just as much time to copy the animation with new character designs than to create a new scene. The real reason it was done was that Woolly Riverman was proud of his animation knowledge and wanted to put it to good use. Remember, these films were only released in cinemas, so there would be no way for viewers to know it was reused. It was only with the release of VHS that people started to notice after numerous rewatches and comparisons.
Woolly was famous for reusing footage. He would reuse anything. In fact, everybody was aghast when he wound up using Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in the dance sequence in Robin Hood. And it was like, oh my God, you wouldn't.
It's not done extensively in this, but Woolly was very proud of his knowledge of old Disney animation and how it might apply within the context of a new production.
The most noticeable moment is during the Phony King of England segment. It heavily uses animation from previous films. Maid Marian's dance moves are copied from both Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and Duchess from the Aristocats. The animals playing various instruments are lifted from the Aristocats. Also the dance between Little John and Lady Cluck is lifted from the dance between Baloo and King Louie in The Jungle Book. Floyd Norman, a former Disney legendary animator, revealed that in reality it's harder and takes longer to redraw an existing sequence. During its initial release, Robin Hood earned $9.6 million in rentals in the United States and Canada. It also grossed $18 million in foreign territories, which at the time was a Disney record, with a worldwide rental of $27.5 million. Disney animator and director Byron Howard admitted that Robin Hood was his favourite film while growing up and cited it as a major influence on Zootopia, another Disney film with anthropomorphic characters. Robin Hood, Little John, Friar Tuck, Prince John and the Sheriff of Nottingham have all appeared in the Disney parks. However, they are quite rare to see. Here is an incredible old clip that I found from a training video for the Disneyland characters. It is so 90s that it is perfect.
The Disneyland Walt Disney World Entertainment Division presents this character training tape so that you who are portraying the characters of Robin Hood, Little John, or Prince John will better understand the problems you might encounter. It's also our purpose to acquaint you with the personality of the character. It's best to avoid smaller aisles, particularly those areas where fragile or breakable items are on display. All of the costume heads will impair your vision, and a quick turn or slip could cause an accident.
There are still no rides or attractions dedicated to Robin Hood, even though it has a cult following of fans. A live-action remake has been announced by Disney. Cary Granlund, who wrote the Lady and the Tramp remake, is scripting the film. It is believed to keep the anthropomorphic characters, which is going to look strange in live action. Thank you for watching, guys. Please like, subscribe and comment because it all helps out. If you're new to the channel, maybe check out some of the other videos. I'm sure there's some that you will enjoy. The next video in this series is 100 facts about Winnie the Pooh. I'll see you there.